Hey guys, I'm back to talk to you about really uplifting things like poverty and deindustrialization. I know, it's not the funnest week. But here we are going through more of our first two sections of chapter 10. Like I said, you do have to read the whole thing, but we're not going to be doing anything in the theory land in this class. So we have the various types of poverty, right? So we have relative poverty. This is a state of living where people can afford necessities, but they're not able to meet their society's average standard of living. This is fairly common in Western countries. So you're broke, right? But you see all these people living this great middle class lifestyle, and you feel like you are poor, even though you can meet your needs, you can eat, you can pay your rent, all of those things. But you can't afford the things that everybody has. So you feel poor in comparison relative to everybody else in your country. That is very different than extreme poverty. Extreme poverty is a state of living where people lack even the basic necessities. Typically food, clean water, safe housing, access to healthcare, everything, right? This is extreme poverty. This is real intense poverty. And then we also have subjective poverty, which is close to relative poverty a little bit. It's poverty that's composed of many dimensions. It's subjectively present when your actual income does not meet your expectations or perceptions. It kind of gets close to relative poverty again because it's subjective. It's based on your ability to do a specific thing. So that's kind of, I'm trying to think of a good example for that. Let's say you went to medical school, right? And you expected to do well, but you didn't. And now you're trying to live paycheck to paycheck, you have loans, you have debt, you get really frustrated with your inability to meet your needs because in theory you should make more than that, right? So those are the different kinds of poverty. Moving on to the underground economy, which most of us have participated in. This is a loosely defined unregulated market, unhindered by taxes, government permits, or human protections. This can be something as simple as babysitting, right? Or cutting somebody's lawn for cash because they didn't report that to the IRS. Technically, it's an underground economy, but that can go all the way to black markets, human trafficking, the whole thing. So there are really harmless examples of that and really harmful examples of that. It covers all of them. We also have the concept of capital flight, which relates to deindustrialization here, refers to the movement or flight of capital from one nation to another. You saw a lot of that here as we started to lose manufacturing to Asia. You saw a lot of investment being made in those countries. And then finally, deindustrialization occurs because of capital flight, because you don't have anybody to build the stuff, right? Because there's no new companies opening to replace the jobs that were lost to those foreign nations. Nobody's building factories, right? So we're starting to deindustrialize. So that's how those two terms interrelate. So that's all the poverty. I'll be back for one last video that is also not very fun, and then we get to ruin America's favorite fruit. So I'm very excited about that.